Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. I brought a chillmonger. He's
Happy
right over
Sunday
there.
morning, everybody.
What's up, y'all? Or, if you're watching it later in the week, happy Sunday anyway. Why you late?
You know how they say it's 5 o'clock somewhere? You can't really say it's Sunday somewhere.
This is true. Depends, man. You never know if we got time travelers. I'm saying, I believe anything nowadays.
You know what? I saw the movie Tenet. Anything is possible.
Oh yeah, dude, I got to see this movie. Like you said, it was hot. I got to see it. Got to see it. We're going to talk about movie theaters in a little while, though. For
We
now.
also will talk about Ray Fisher as usual. We'll get into
We
M.O.D.O.K.
missed him one week, and I'm actually sad that we missed talking about him the one week. But go on.
We got him this week. We got Shang-Chi on the docket, some Sony talk, some Chris Hemsworth Thor talk, but we will
Mhm.
begin this week with some news on DC fandom. Let's get that out the way.
Holy crap! DC fandom was pretty mundane. it was pretty. It was in the Middle East. They'll be like, it was Addy. It was I. There was not a lot. They didn't do a whole lot with the movies. They did some stuff with the TV shows. There was some cool stuff that did come out of it. Case in point, HBO Max greenlights Doom Patrol season 3. Dude, Jovian Wade, the other cyborg, he's gonna be back again. And this is something that's interesting that they kind of tried to, slip under the radar, but I caught that crap like a freaking cold, man. I was like, wait a second. It's
Huh.
been greenlit to be renewed at HBO Max. It ain't been on HBO Max. It's only been on the DC streaming app. So if it's been greenlit for a renewal for season 3 on HBO Max, well then that means, dude, we've been reporting on this for months
That DC
now.
streaming is
It's
it's
right.
over.
Streams do go downhill. I'm saying. I'm saying. Oh man, but there's that. Young Justice Phantoms. Season 4, they're talking about they're going to name it Young Justice Phantoms.
Phantoms.
So, okay, cool. So, season 4, look, we don't have a release date yet. We don't have all the stuff yet, but they're putting it out there. Boom, we're good. We're good.
Nothing
Okay.
has a release date. I'm not even mad at that.
Yeah, they're always talking about new release dates. Like Wonder Woman release date has been changed to Christmas. I don't give a funk. I don't give a funk. Instead of October, early October, it's going to be Christmas instead. I don't care. It's like there are news articles written about. I don't care. Oh, Patty Jenkins comments on it, and who cares?
What do you mean? Who
Everything's
cares? That's
being
an
changed.
important part of the news. It's a release
Oh, it
date.
doesn't matter. They keep changing the release date, and they could still change it then. They could still change it then also. Oh, the Flash solo film. It's going to restart everything, but it's going to change nothing. Okay, well, I mean, if you're going to restart something, then it doesn't matter if it changes. Why would it? That's cool. So basically, it's going to be Flashpoint. That's what you're saying. This is just like they said G5 is dead. Like, yeah, duh. We expected that. But now it's official. It's finally official. They're
Uh-huh.
like G5, whatever, all that nonsense. It's dead. We're not doing it. Some of those ideas, we've already talked about this also in previous podcasts. Some of the ideas will cross over, but the event itself it's like just flushing that toilet. You know what I'm saying? And oh, hey, look, there it goes. And every so often you might see like one little baby turd comes back. And it's like, what do you want? It's a Richard Pryor joke. What do you want? What did you get lost on the way? But aside from that, they're flushing the toilet of this thing. So bye bye.
You know, there's like more PG ways to say it. Like they're cleaning the slate.
Yeah, except that Richard Pryor didn't have a clean slate. Richard Pryor did dope and set himself on fire by accident and had a brilliant, illustrious career. So
Hmm.
I don't care. One of the funniest mother effers on the face of the planet, mother effer. What do you call it? Anyway, so yeah, that. So it's basically going to be like a Flashpoint movie, like we expected. Basically, I look at this as I don't know about a final nail in the coffin, but I genuinely look at this as again, if you're a Zack Snyder movie fan, you are awesome, but you need to also recognize, as far as comic book fans go, and as far as non-comic book fans who are just casually, I know who Superman is, and he's
Mm-hmm.
not a freaking murderer.
Mm-hmm.
I know who Batman is. I can see him punching some people, but like breaking the concrete with people's skulls and shoot. Like, no, that's not who Batman is. I'm sorry. That vision is the wrong vision, and Warner Brothers, AT&T, whomever, they recognize that, and we're done. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Nice to know you. Don't come back. Auf Wiedersehen.
That's what
You
the
know?
Celtics told the Raptors.
Oh, what happened there? I've
The
been hearing some
Toronto
Raptors news.
defending champions are no longer in the NBA playoffs. So
Oh,
they're out
what
the
happened?
bubble.
Oh, because they lost in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Well, that sucks. That sucks. The Celtics, right? Does Bird still have something to do with the Celtics?
No, he's on the Indiana Pacers now.
Oh, that's like blasphemy, dude.
I think he's from that area.
Yeah, but he got those rings on the Celtics, man. I mean, that's the only time I'll ever pronounce it Celtics because it's pronounced Celtics. But the basketball team is the Celtics because they don't know what the hell they're doing. But we just,
ticks.
I guess they do sell some ticks. Anyway, yeah. So there's a whole bunch of like little stuff out there. At the end of the day, though, not much really as far as the comic books are concerned, aside from like the G5 news or whatever. Yeah, just stuff, little tiny stuff like that. Oh, I do want to report on something that I actually saw. I caught the end of Blurred Without. Go check out Blurred Without Fear, my people, on Twitch and on YouTube. Ernie's cool people. There's a book called Represent, written by this guy named Christian Cooper. Do you remember who Christian Cooper is, Joe?
Is he this same guy who was walking his dog and
yes,
some woman who called the police on him?
Yes, that's him, the former editor of Marvel Comics. DC put out a comic book, and I didn't even know about this. Blurred pointed this out. So DC Comics is a digital exclusive. It's on Comixology right now. It's free right now. People can go and get this book for free right now. In fact, why didn't I put it in my cart, proceed to check out? Boom, I just got a free book, my peeps. I'm saying it's that easy.
You must have the American account. I tried to do that on my, when Black Panther became available on Comixology for free. I tried to like add it to my cart also, and it just didn't work. Maybe it was the computer I was using. I don't know.
For real? Oh, wow. Are you using Chrome?
It was, yeah.
That kind of sucks. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it is the American version. Do you have a VPN?
Canadian version, yeah.
Do you have a VPN, I'm saying?
No, I don't use those.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, if you did, I can't share that with you. I'm sorry. Anyway.
But
yeah,
you don't have a Canadian account, is what you're telling me.
I honestly don't know. Let me look at it really quick. I have...
Because then it's my fault if it didn't work. But if
it says .com. Is yours .ca?
Yeah, I think it's because mine's .ca. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm using .com. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. I'm not using a VPN right now, but I'm still able to get all my books. I still have access. I can still read all my books, Anyway, what else we got on the docket? Also, it was only for free to watch this stuff for the day, and they're saying they're going to bring the stuff down. But after I uploaded while I was uploading the video, the audio last week, to the regular podcast, Stitcher and Podbean and all them, I noticed that there was an executive that was talking to, I think it was Vanity Fair, I can't remember, and she said that they were thinking about how they could try to monetize this one, but they only had a week to think about it. So I was mad. I was really mad. I talked about it in like one of the podcasts or whatever, one of the videos that I did, one of the reviews I did, I guess. I was just like, yo, like these guys are trying to monetize this stuff now. Like, how are you going to just, out of nowhere, like snipe us out of a bush in freaking flip mode? Like, what are you doing? So apparently they didn't, or maybe they will now. They'll be like, oh, you're allowed to watch it after the 24 hours and it's going to cost you money though. I don't know. Like, why wouldn't they just make it accessible the whole time? What's the big deal? They could upload all this stuff on YouTube and it's not going to, they're not, they can make money off it that way. But they were talking about actually trying to get fans to pay.
It's a business strategy.
Yeah, but when they start doing that last minute crap, I don't know, man. It says something. It also gives me insight into a bit of a conversation because as much as this one didn't have too much to do with the comic books, it technically had more to do with comic books than the previous one. The previous one was all about the movies. So I sat there and I thought to myself, it's a funny thing. The people who only watch movies and don't read comic books are not dedicated to anything. You know, they're just like,
Yeah.
oh, you're going to put out a movie? I'll go watch a movie. Here's $15, whatever it's going to cost. Let me watch a movie, you know? But as comic book fans, we're going to go. We're going to scrutinize or we're going to love, whatever. It's going to be what it is.
Yeah.
But we're that dedicated fan base that they know they've got us. So the ones that already given the money, those are the ones that they're looking at trying to squeeze. And they're trying to see how many fans do we have right now? Can we, how much of them are likely to actually pay us? I promise you, I guarantee, like, that's not even a conversation. I'll bet whatever you want. I guarantee that conversation was brought up in at least one of the boardrooms, you know? And if anything, the only thing was they couldn't figure out a good strategy to do it within a week. Yeah. It's dirty. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I hope this new guy who's in charge goes and handles some business. Puts these guys in line.
It might be coming directly from him, though.
No. He only just started recently. This was stuff that happened last week. He only started officially like a couple days ago, like 2 days ago, I think. Yesterday, 2 days ago, yeah.
You want to stick with DC, or we can go to Star Wars?
Oh, geez, Star Wars will be there forever, but whatever. Wherever you're hosting it, man.
What's hashtag IStandWithRayFisher?
Okay, so Ray Fisher, man, we all know that's my boy. I'm down with that Borg life. September 7th was his birthday. Happy 33rd birthday, Ray. I know he's not listening. But anyway, oh no, sorry. September 9th is his birthday, where he became 33. September 7th, though, this guy named Jason Momoa, you may have heard of him. He played a Dothraki guy in Game of Thrones, and he was Aquaman. Yeah, he played Aquaman, and he put out on his Instagram, hashtag IStandWithRayFisher.
That's nice.
That's what I'm talking about. You know what just popped up today? There's this one of the other stars from the Justice League movie. Her name is Kiersey Clemens. She also posted today, hashtag IStandWithRayFisher. Yeah, she played Iris West. Did you remember seeing her in the movie?
No.
You know who Iris West is, right?
That's her name is West, so it's Wally West's family.
Yes, his family and Barry Allen's wife. Even in the cartoon, or excuse me, in the TV show, she's a black woman who's with him. In the comics, always been a white woman, but in the movies and now in the TV shows, or in the TV shows and now in this movie, she's black. So whatever, I don't care. Boom, she's just beautiful. You know, it's funny though. You didn't see her in that movie though.
Okay.
Somehow they cut her out of the movie completely cut her out of the movie.
Not if Zack Snyder has something to say about it.
Well, I'm sure because we're going to see his cut. And I'm, whatever, it's going to be what it is. Mm-hmm. But I find that interesting. That's the only reason why I brought her up. She's black. That she stands with Ray Fisher. Her scenes were completely cut out of the movie. And she's a woman of color. I know we all hate that term, but she's a black woman. What's up with that? What's up with that?
I mean, there's so much to open.
Yeah, there's the barber.
No,
who of all the people, they didn't put his name on there. He's the only black guy. They took the barber off the credits. Like all the other barbers are on there.
Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that racism is in Warner Brothers studio or in any studio. I'm not shocked to my core. It happens. But the thing is, if Iris West is white in the comic books, make her white in the movies and the TV shows.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with that because honestly, like I said, I don't care enough to even get into argument over that. But in general, more and more people are starting to come out talking about I stand with Ray Fisher.
All right.
That's cool. I'm saying. I know you don't like him for your own personal reasons, but not like him. I misrepresented you. I misrepresented you. I will take that. I'm not just going to block you. I misrepresented you. I'm saying you're more of a I don't really care too much about the whole situation thing. For me, though, anybody who's willing to stand up for unions, anybody who's willing to stand up for the underdog, I am right there. Dude, Ghosted Tom Joad, right here, dude. You're not going to get that reference, but it's fine. Old Bruce Springsteen and Reborn and Rage Against the Machine. What else we got?
Daisy Ridley went out and talked to an interviewer. His name is Josh something, but he was working for Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, Josh Gad.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And so he asks a very sincere question. He's like, hey, did you know about the parents of Rey? And she could have answered that with a yes. She could have answered that with a no. But Daisy Ridley just told too much of the truth. What she said was, she confirmed it was Obi-Wan Kenobi initially. That was what it was. And then she goes, then the plan was, just like in episode 8, The Filthy Junk Traders, where she didn't have a famous last name. It was just like Rey something. Yeah, she confirms that too, that it really was, I don't want to say no one, but she said no one. When I say no one, I mean, you know what I mean, right? It's just no one of significance. And then she goes, then in the third movie, it's being pitched to me, and JJ says, Palpatine, granddaughter. And she goes, oh, okay. And a couple weeks later, he comes back and he goes, that might have changed. And to the point when the movie came out, she still did not know what the decision was of what her last name would be. This movie franchise was not planned. We had a trilogy for the sake of, 3 movies, $3 billion, but no actual plan. I've seen Rian Johnson say in interviews, and he said this like it was a good thing. Kathleen Kennedy really didn't put any restrictions on me. I was allowed to do anything I wanted to do. What? You can do that in a trilogy, like in the middle point of a trilogy? I've seen the Colin Trevorrow... You want to add something?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
I've seen the Colin Trevorrow screen what do you call it? What's the script called? Script?
Adaptation?
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking for or what?
I don't know what I was looking for, but I've seen what was supposed to happen in his version of Episode 9, which had nothing to do with what we actually saw in the movie of Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. I've seen, what's his name? Luke Skywalker's guy, Mark Hamill. He's talking about how I fundamentally disagree with virtually everything you created for my character. You decided for my character. I've seen so many little bits and evidences that this trilogy was not planned out and was worthless. I've seen Kathleen Kennedy talk about, we had Palpatine planned this whole time as she's getting interviewed at Star Wars Celebration. So that's around May. And then I've also seen the actor, Ian McDiarmid, get asked, now that you're back, how does it feel? And he goes, yeah, I was kind of surprised. They just sort of called me earlier this summer, which means he wasn't actually planned the way that Kathleen Kennedy said that he'd be planned. I've seen Kathleen Kennedy's own interviews been used against her. One time she goes, well, we know that Carrie Fisher died. What we're not going to do is put her in Episode 9. What happens? They reuse footage from Episode 7 to put her in Episode 9. There's nothing here that Kathleen Kennedy, whose contract expires in year 2021, I just checked.
Yeah, I know. I told you, it's like she's only got another year on her contract. There are fake news reports of people saying that she's going to be, been fired. George Lucas came up and said, George Lucas doesn't have a single bit of power. He has not one iota of power. He doesn't have the high ground. He's got nothing. You can underestimate him all you damn well want. Before we started actually recording, Chill was actually using all these little references, all these puns. But what do you call it? Yeah, of course her interviews are going to be used against her. Look, I literally look at it as she's no different than any other exec, except that she makes one fatal mistake. She actually talks to the regular people.
Well, she made 3 fatal mistakes. Episode 7, 8, and 9, having nothing to do with each other.
She does have people she has to report to also. She doesn't have unbridled power. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't have unlimited power. Apparently nobody does. But no, I look at it honestly, like I don't even hate on her. I literally look at it as the only stupid thing that she's done, really, is to come out and actually try and talk to people and get in front of cameras. And it's like, dude, people at your level should not be coming out, getting in front of the cameras. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see Amy Pascal talking. That's the thing. When you don't hear from like the Rockefellers of the world, when you don't hear from the whatever, like whoever the super wealthy, elite, rich people, the Ross or Rothsteins or whatever the hell, all these people like, these are the super masterminds of the world. It's because you never hear from them. When people start talking about, these conspiracy theories, they're like the Illuminati. They sit in this quiet room with cigar smoke and they just start talking and planning how the world's going to work. We imagine that because we in general have this sense that people in power and with money or one or the other, whatever, are super smart. And then when one of them comes out and starts actually talking, like when Bill Gates, This person who was behind everything was like, when he starts talking, we're like, this guy's really freaking stupid. No, like, I think, like, I'm sure he could run circles around me as far as programming, but like, I think I could tie my shoes faster than him. I think I could do pretty much anything better than this guy. Can this guy even make his own sandwich? This guy seems like an absolute dotard. Like he's a dumbass, you know? And that's what happens with all of these people, because when they're not only unconcerned with their privacy, but they actually want to get in front of the limelight, have the spotlights on them while the cameras are recording.
Mm-hmm.
That's when all of a sudden you realize this person's really not that smart. How did this person get in this position of power? How did this person become so rich? How did this person become so famous? How? You
Well, I
know?
know how Kathy Kennedy got there.
She got
Steven
there because she
Spielberg.
was straight hand-picked by George Lucas himself. And before he sold everything to Disney, he was like, I'm giving everything to you, Kathleen Kennedy, because I trust you implicitly. So I know that. You know what I'm saying? So I get all these different things. George Lucas himself handed her the
I know.
reins.
Stop saying that. He
That's the
misplaced his
reason.
trust.
Well, but that's the thing. We try to imagine these people and like all these silly little things. Like I could go on. It's like, oh, Mark Hamill, didn't like anything. Mark Hamill also said, why would a Jedi who apparently like failed at something, why would he go and hide someplace on a planet all by himself? I'm sorry, did you not see Yoda in Empire Strikes Back? Same damn thing, Marky
No, it's
Mark.
not the
Like, what
same
the
damn
hell?
thing.
That's the exact same thing. He went off and he
Here's the
hid.
difference. Well, let
He
me
went off. Go ahead. Well, I let you talk. You're just. I don't want to get into a conversation about everything. We could talk about that later in a headcanon if you want. Like you could bring this up again later. But I'm just saying in general, like a quick little. We think that these people know what they're doing. No, we're all humans. Nobody's really smarter than anybody else. Nobody's so brilliant that's like, this guy should lead us. How many Albert Einsteins are there? Mind you, Albert Einstein owned 7 suits. They all look exactly the same because he thought, if I use too much brain energy, like thinking about what I'm going to wear, it's going to take away from the limited brain space that I have. It's like, dude, that's a jackass thing to say. But hey, at the same time, he's also, the guy who started the idea of the Manhattan Project that helped us to win World War II. So hey, like we're all idiots. Every single one of us are idiots, you know what I'm saying? But some of us just simply have more money than the others. It's whatever. Why is Jeff Bezos so rich? He found a cheap way to mail packages. And he steals people's ideas. Like, come on, man. Kathleen Kennedy, what'd she do? She sent an interview on IO9 one time. I had to look this one up. This was a couple years ago. She said that Star Wars can't be fully pre-planned and should always be open to detours and deviations. I don't think anything is ever cemented. And that this is almost exactly what George Lucas has said multiple times. Star Wars special feature. Saying when you're going back into those old VHS tapes that were like, holy crap, wow, you changed a lot, George. What the hell happened? Saying we were actually mad at some of the changes, but it is what it is. He kept on changing things. He changed things while he was making the movies. I'm sorry, Princess Leia was not supposed to be his sister, and Carrie Fisher talks about how at the very last second, hey, listen, so we're actually going to make you Mark's sister. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. Last minute, this is your sister.
You mean in episode 5 when he says there is another hope?
Yeah, he says there's another, but they weren't planning on doing anything with that. No, there's another. It's like this boy is our last hope. No, there's another. Didn't say it's the last Skywalker. Didn't say anything. Just there's a last hope. No, there's another. They just left it open. They didn't know if it was going to be. No, there was no forethought on that being his sister.
Yeah, one thing was changed.
Mm-hmm.
But
no,
Star
dude.
Wars Episode 9
I could go on with a lot of things, but that's not what this podcast is about. That's just one of the major things. Saying that's probably one of the more major things. There's been a lot of things that have been changed. Like, we like to think that Lucas is some genius. He's not a freaking genius. He had a really good idea. Most of those ideas, I'm sorry, I love Star Wars. I'll put my knowledge against anybody. And I love, especially the original, 3 movies. Genius stuff. But half of that stuff was stolen from the book Dune by Frank Herbert, which came out years prior.
I'm unbothered if it was stolen or was created by himself.
So how is that genius?
He had 3 movies planned out. He mentioned Darth Vader.
He actually had 6 movies planned out.
6
He had
movies. You're
all
right.
6 planned out.
Yeah.
He knew he can only do the following 3. But even then, that first movie especially was so cut and dry, stolen from the first Dune movie. It's unparalleled how much he just plainly ripped off. We can't call the man a genius when he's just stealing from somebody else. When that Dune movie comes out, I hope more people read the books and sit there and look at this as like, whoa, spice, that was in there? Well, the desert plant, whoa, that was in there. Well, wait a second, the guy who had like the powers that, hold on, wait a second, hold on, the father thing, this, dude, like, is there anything that George Lucas did by himself? Greedo, because Han shot first. That was the thing. Oh God, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Look, we like to think that these people are geniuses. They're not. They're all a bunch of jackasses. But if anything that we should, already know from this, if not learn from it, it's the idea that just like in the comic books, when the editors aren't doing their job, this is the Jim Shooter comment. If you've got a good editor, you've got a good comic book. It's as simple as that. Likewise, if you got a good editor, you got a good, but you got a good movie. But when Kathleen Kennedy or whomever is saying, no, let them do whatever they want, you're going to get really random stuff. That's how I see it.
So Yoda went into exile because after Order 66, being a Jedi was a murderable offense. When Luke went into exile, he did it on his own choice with none of those external factors.
Sorry, that stuff wasn't planned out in when episode 5 came out. That stuff was not planned out in episode 5. It wasn't planned out in episode 4. None of that stuff, like Yoda, wasn't planned out in episode. It's just not the way that it worked. So no, no. In fact, the whole idea of the monster showing up, the what is it? I know what his name is. The Wampa that cut Luke's face. That happened because Mark Hamill got into a car accident and he busted his face up, and no amount of makeup would cover it. So like, you know what? We're gonna use it. So the Wampa slices his face, and it's like, okay, cool. It was a cool scene, great way to last minute do the stuff. But that's the thing; these movies have never, ever been concrete. The more you look into it, the more you'll see. Damn, how did they even make the first 3 movies any good? You know what I'm saying? They just kept on changing things all the time.
I'm not mad that they changed things in 4, 5, 6. Of course, 2 years, 3 years actually, in those times in between movies, you're gonna have a lot of room to change your mind and make different ideas possible. Episode
There you
7,
go.
8, and 9 were completely like, let me use numbers. 100% a different idea, story, different man, different everything. Nothing was planned out, even a little bit, except we're gonna have the numbers 7, 8, and 9 in the title. Other than
I'm just
that,
going to give it to you for the sake of brevity because we got only 3 topics done in a half an hour. That's horrible timing. So let's move on. You're right.
Sony's
I'm wrong. Let's go.
Sony's president is gonna say, let's pause these big budget $200 million releases until we can have a safe amount of. Oh no, he said something capacity, a significant capacity theaters.
Yeah.
Until we can do that, we're not gonna have Morbius, Venom, or none of the big films out in the theater. So everything, has been taken off of the slate. Okay, more money for Warner Brothers to be making because Tenet is gonna be eating. And slowly but surely, this will become a highly profitable movie. That's not headcanon. That's a fact.
No, it's not a fact. It's not even a factoid. It's not even a flash fact, god damn it.
I think it's at 150 million last time I checked.
That's cool. Look how long it took. And it's still the idea. All it takes is one time for an outbreak to happen, and it's going to freak people out in a major way. In fact, that one time people are seeing more and more is kids going back to school. That's all it's going to take. When that second wave, boom, all of a sudden hits, people can be like,
wave,
holy crap.
The fear tactic that the news has been using, the second wave.
A fear tactic that has been happening every single place around the world where they've had kids go back to school consistently. That's when the factual second wave actually came out. It's not just news reporting.
It's also regional.
Of course, it's regional. When the kids go back to school, that's when all of a sudden it happens. So yes, like our kids are going back to school next week. This Monday, kids are going to start going back to school.
Kids.
Yeah, they're all going back to school. So we're going to see.
In school in January and February and mid-March also? Yes. I'm trying to say that they had a chance to spread the virus. during those 3 months when no one was tracking it and when tests were so scarce they were actually telling you, unless you got the symptoms, don't get tested. I'm saying that it's possible that this disease already made its way around at least my city. We're an international city with flights to Wuhan, flights to China all the time. I think it did a whole lot of
I don't know
damage in
how many
January,
people were going in
February.
and out of Wuhan. Like, I've never heard of Wuhan before this. I know
That
a
doesn't
lot
mean it didn't
about Wuhan
exist.
now.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that
No,
doesn't
of
mean it.
course it doesn't mean it didn't exist, but what I'm saying is like nobody was talking about how many people were actually going to Wuhan of all places. It's
Mhm.
like the girl from Mulan is actually from Wuhan, apparently. It's like, wow, I never would have known that, never would have cared. But all of a sudden, um,
Is she in the news for anything? She didn't say anything recently.
oh, recently? No, the Mulan is in the news big time. But as far as the movie theaters, yeah, Fauci just came out today, or yesterday, I think it was today though, and said movie theaters aren't going to be safe until a year after we've already got the vaccine.
Hmm.
I mean, that's a big thing, and people love and respect Fauci. I'm not entirely sure why. Like I guess he's likable, but he's also the same guy who came out and said, "Yeah, yeah, no, masks aren't showing any kind of proof that it'll prevent or help anybody." And then I think it was 1 or 2 weeks later, he's like, "Okay, actually, masks are really important to wear. We just held back and told you they weren't because we wanted to make sure that medical facilities get a huge backlog of them because our healthcare workers were going to need them a lot." It's like that's really messed up, bro. But I hear you. I mean, I guess it would also be pretty bad if the toilet paper ran out the hospitals. But I'm just saying, like we were more interested in toilet paper than masks, anyways. But like people are actually paying attention. They're listening to the news, and not just the news, independent studies and everything like that. And some people go this way, some people go that way. But in general, I don't know, man. Like most of us aren't ready to go back to where it's actually got to be. I was just in line with this guy. This was just I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I was going up an escalator and this guy got like 2 feet behind me. I was like, "Could you move back?" He's like, "As long as you're not facing me, it's not a problem." I was like, "Bud, you're not 6 feet back. I don't want to have to say it again." He's like, "What? You're gonna measure out 6 feet?" I was like, "I'm 6'5". My legs will go out about 4 feet. If I could kick you in your fucking face right now, boy, guess what? Guess what? You're within 6 feet." And he realized I meant it. He's like, put his hands up and stepped back like, 2 full steps. Yeah, good boy. Still
Hold
not
on though.
far enough, but it was
Hold,
enough.
hold on though. How
Sometimes
was
you got
the
to shame a dude.
how was the virus gonna spread if you guys weren't facing?
He was facing me. It was an
He was
escalator. They all go one direction, right?
yeah. So he could have coughed on your back, and
Yeah,
then your clothing could have gotten
yeah.
infected. You would have
And then
sat
I
on the
got an
couch.
itch.
Someone else would have sat on the couch. All right.
Yeah, whatever. It's the idea. It's like, don't be an asshole. This guy was an ass. I had to put him in his place. I never have a problem putting somebody in their place. Never. I feel like sometimes I live for it. Oh man. But yeah, the movie theaters aren't going back to normal anytime soon. None of it's going to be normalized anytime soon. Dude, the colleges right now, you know what I'm saying? The colleges right now, they're all online exclusively. I mean, just was it just this week? 10,000 extra kids, parents, 10, yeah, in just this region alone, small, much smaller than Ontario. I'm not talking about all of Ontario. It's always separated by district. Like my district alone, which only consists of 3 cities or 3 townships. No, not townships. A township of like three, basically. It's like a township, so it's a district which has like 3 towns in it.
Mm-hmm.
They said that um, inside of 3 days, an extra 10,000 parents said, "We're not going to actually send our kids back to school. We're actually going to keep them local. We're going to keep them at home and do the online learning." So like, we're in a mad scramble now to find an extra because they're actually giving laptops to parents who need them. I don't know if they're good laptops or not, but in general, like they're handing out laptops to the parents. Like you return them when you're finished going to school. But like I'm reading all these emails and like, yeah, if you borrowed a laptop last year, you don't have to return the laptop if you're going to still use it this year. We know that you've got it. Boom, whatever. And it's like we're all getting free laptops, bro. I'm saying like it's great
And
to
we're all
be in
gonna
Canada.
download Disney Plus on these things and watch the Mulan movie.
Maybe. My kids are actually doing schoolwork. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So whatever. We got our own laptops and it's like, here you go. Boom, 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 boom. All right, no watching YouTube. Get off of that, that jelly Minecraft guy. Get off of
They're
there,
not even
man.
watching you.
They're not even watching me, man. They
Damn.
don't watch me. My kids don't watch me, bro. I'm really bothered by I like my pride is really hurt just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We watch Dream, they watch Jelly, and it's like I'm getting tired of this, man. I'm way more into I'm obviously I'm not. But anyway, I should become
So,
a Minecraft speedrunner.
what's the Shang-Chi surprise appearance you were saying earlier?
Yo, you know who the actor Benedict Wong is?
Yeah, from Doctor Strange.
He's the guy who plays Wong.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the perfect name. And also kind of like Benedict Cumberbatch. It's the weirdest thing. The guy was made for this role,
Mm-hmm.
genuinely made for this role. So the Australia set of Shang-Chi, for some reason, Benedict Wong was there.
Oh,
He's
I
taking
wouldn't have asked you
pictures.
if I knew that you were talking about the Shang-Chi movie. I thought you were going to say there's a surprise appearance like in the comic coming up.
Oh, no, no, I said the movie, man.
Hmm.
Oh, what, did you know about this?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, Benedict Wong shows up. And I guess it's like, well, there's the Tibet thing. So maybe there's I don't know, but of course, there's no Tibet in the MCU. It is what it is. They gotta keep that on the low if they want the sales to be over there. But over there in China. But yeah, man, that's he just shows up and he's there taking pictures. And their movie doesn't actually start. The Doctor Strange movie doesn't start filming until November, and that's in the UK. So
Mm-hmm.
what was Benedict Wong doing there? I guess he's going to make a special cameo appearance, which I'm not complaining about.
I hope he's in the trailer now. Because now that
That,
I know about him, like, there's no
right?
point in hiding it.
That would be really cool. Yeah, exactly. Like he's taking pictures. It's like, hey, what's going on with the cast and crew? Arms around everybody. It's like, hello, whatever. I think it's good publicity. It's like it's going to tie in. It gets us talking. So
Pictures with the cast and crew, or pictures with fans
yeah,
outside?
no, no fans. No, no fans.
Okay, so this counts as a leak, I guess.
I guess it would
Someone,
count. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It kind of counts as a leak.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but
It's
the
not the
pictures are
same
out
as
there.
what happened with Falcon and Winter Soldier. There's a scene that they were filming a couple days ago in Atlanta, and
Mhm.
people who lived on balconies could kind of record and see that there was a fight scene being filmed.
Yes, and they also saw that this is just I'm springing this on you. Sorry.
Hmm.
They're saying that there's they were wearing the bad guys were wearing badges on their uniforms that said World Reparation Council
Oh,
or repatriation. Sorry, World Repatriation Council (WRC). That is especially interesting because there are a lot of people speculating on this, that, the other thing, whatever. I'm going to throw my own little headcanon here because I actually have not repatriated yet. See, I am an expat. I'm an expatriate, meaning coming from the Latin patriot, homeland. My homeland is America. You
hmm.
know what I'm saying? I'm American. So I should technically be in America, but I'm an expat. I went over to the Middle East, two continents in the Middle East, and then I came over here, and I still haven't gone back since 2011. I haven't officially lived in America since 2011. I am an expat. But if something were to ever happen where they're recalling all American citizens and I'm forced to go, or I just decide I want to move back to America, whatever, then I have to be what's considered repatriated. All of my currency, for me, it would be easy because my currency has to be transferred over, whatever. But let's say you got like a POW, right? A prisoner of war who's been overseas someplace for God knows how long, comes back over here. Person doesn't have a job to come home to, doesn't have a home to go to, doesn't have any of this stuff. This individual needs, and plus the world has changed, for however long he's been gone, let's say 5 years or so. He needs to be repatriated. You know who would have to be repatriated in the MCU? The blips.
Oh,
Think about that. Because I was just watching twice the Spider-Man Far From Home with my kids. They were watching it for the first time 2 days ago, and yesterday they wanted to watch it yet again. And
they got good taste. That was a good movie.
it was a good movie. And those kids that were gone for 5 years, they come back all of a sudden, just poof, I'm back, undusted, but they're 5 years older physically, but they got to start high school all over again, even though they were halfway through and everything. What?
They weren't 5 years older. The guys who were blipped returned at the age that they were.
No, they were 5 years older. Remember that one kid, whatever his name was?
Brad.
Yeah, Brad. It was
So
Brad. I was like, Brad, it's such a white name. Like, what
so
were they named Brad? Yeah, they named
so
Brad.
Peter was blipped. His friend Ned was blipped. They were all blipped. That's why Zendaya's character,
Uh-huh.
MJ, she was blipped.
Yeah,
They come back and they realize, oh, Brad, that kid who was young, became older. That's because he wasn't blipped.
he wasn't.
That's how it went.
Oh, I thought he was. Whatever. I don't care. I was like watching the action scenes. Anyway, whatever it is. Yeah. So these people who come back, they've got to be repatriated because 5 years. Look at all that's changed. You know what I'm saying? It may not seem like a lot, but in well, to me, it definitely doesn't seem like anything because I'm old now. But for younger kids, 5 years, if you just disappeared for 5 years, like
Mm-hmm.
there are people like if I was working a 9 to 5 doing whatever, I come back 5 years later and I'm like, what happened? Why is all this stuff changed? I don't have a home anymore. I've been evicted. My wife probably remarried. You know what I'm saying? My job is gone. Moved overseas, whatever. I've got to be repatriated. So that's what I think that's supposed to be about. That's just my little headcanon about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, little something, something.
M.O.D.O.K is coming to New York Comic Con,
Yes.
which is a
So
digital Comic Con, if you're wondering.
yes, it's going to be all online. Hi, how are you from your computer? And much like DC Fandome. Talking about domes, M.O.D.O.K. So the mental organism designed only for killing is going to be a cartoon, an animated TV series, and he's changing him up, brah. So he's now like a divorcee. he's got he's got like he had marital problems and things like that. He's got to deal with crazy things. Where did I write this crazy stuff, man? This just seems so weird. Revealed as the head of AIM. He's from a failed marriage. He's going through a midlife crisis right now, and he's going to be so there's going to be a whole panel about this, and he's going to be voiced by Patton Oswalt.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of this guy. Not a huge fan of this guy, but whatever. Like he was okay in Agents of Shield. There's some funny stuff with all the multiple twin siblings and whatnot, but for the most part, yeah, I just no. I
This kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of WWE's Camp. Remember that?
That cartoon, yes, with Ric Flair like going woo on the
Yeah.
tire swing or something like
And
that.
Triple H's dad was named Quadruple H.
That's funny. I only watched like the first episode.
Yeah.
I don't even think I watched the second. Yeah, I was like, whatever. Didn't
I
go in.
just
It
saw
didn't do
bits and
anything for me.
pieces on YouTube. It's kind of funny, but it's not worth my time. M.O.D.O.K.
Yeah, that's pretty much M.O.D.O.K for me. So whatever.
So
Cool.
one season, guys.
Yeah, if it actually looks like Patton Oswalt's face, that could be funny because I could see that. I could 100% see that.
What's the deal with Thor, with Chris Hemsworth Thor, the movie version?
Well, we lost Captain America. We
He's
lost
older. I'm sure he'll be back.
possibly. We lost Robert Downey Jr.
That
We
one,
lost
yeah.
we lost Iron Man. Yeah, that one's a big one. Black Widow. Well, we don't know what the hell's going on with Black Widow, but
I say she's coming back, soul for a soul.
that's a possibility. But we're talking about the big three. Thor's the other of the big three. So what's going to happen with him afterwards?
He can't get old because he's already 1,500, and I don't see anyone killing him, so he's fine. Don't worry.
Kill Thor. But Chris Hemsworth,
Oh,
he decided no. After Thor, Love and Thunder, I am still going to stay in the Marvel Universe. Thor is going to stay in the Marvel Universe. We're good. We at least got that old face. It's going to keep on coming back. Maybe he's going to punch some Celestials in the face alongside the Eternals. I don't know, man. I don't know. But bang, Chris Hemsworth is staying around in the MCU after Thor 4, Love and Thunder.
He must be reading Donny Cates, and he's like, I can't wait to do this stuff.
He must be, right?
Herald of Galactus, yeah.
Hell yeah. What else?
Release the Ayers cut.
There's a really simple thing. In the people, bringing that up again, and somebody went and asked, "Hey, were the original plans?" They asked David Ayers, I think it was on Twitter. Did you originally plan for El Diablo to die? Because it just seemed kind of weird that he died at the end. It's like, no, I actually planned for him to live. But the execs at Warner Brothers stepped in and they said, no, since he killed his family, he has to die. if you want him to live, then we have to get rid of that backstory with his family. And it's like one or the other. So he's like, fine, I'll kill him. Yeah. So that's kind of messed up, you know? It's like I think that we live in a world like I'm just going to bring up really briefly the cancel culture, outrage culture.
How dare you?
Well, outrage and then cancel culture. Oh, gee, I just been canceled by Chill. Um, anyway, just the idea that it's like we seem to believe in this current state that we're in that there is no such thing as redemption, no redemption arc, no redemption period. If you've done something wrong, even if it's 30 years ago, you're done. And it's like, why? How did we get to this point? Like, I thought that this was supposed to be like in America. I thought this was supposed to be a so-called Christian nation where people are allowed to be forgiven, where mea culpas can happen. Now, I know that's not evangelical, that's more Catholic, but still, like, bro, I thought that people could forgive each other, but no, apparently not. That's why Kylo Ren just had to die. That's why freaking it just doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense.
Neither did Star Wars Episode 9.
None of it made sense to me. Denzel Washington said the same thing. What was that that totally badass movie that he was in?
Training Day?
Training Day, hells yes. He said at the end of that one, he's like, listen, my guy, Alonzo, he played Alonzo. He's like, listen, my guy, he has to die at the end. It's like, well, but then there can't be a sequel. He's like, there shouldn't be a sequel, or it shouldn't be a sequel with Alonzo in it. Alonzo's a bad guy. He needs to die. Like, there has to be consequences for being bad. And that has to be the consequence. That was Denzel Washington himself saying to the director and the writers, he has to die at the end somehow. It's like, it doesn't have to be like that, you know, but I don't know. That's just some people. I guess that's just the way they are.
I
No
agree with
redemption.
that decision because part of the movie or the suspense of the movie for me was watching it the whole time wondering, is this guy really that crooked or is he like a good guy, a bad guy? Where does he stand? And then getting that confirmation that he's actually evil. I wouldn't want to see a sequel because that part of the movie wouldn't be there anymore. They would have to. It would be a different movie. The whole mystery of is he good or bad isn't there.
I don't know. I think he was pretty bad. I think that was pretty obvious personally. Either way, just the idea of is he good or bad? Yeah, I think that's great. If you actually felt like that going into the movie and all throughout until the very end, yeah, that's exactly what they were looking for. He does some bad things, but then he does some good things. He comes over and he's like, yeah, listen, come over to this house, man. I got to bring all these charitable goods over. I got to take care of the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm giving, a bunch of things for charity for the local people. He was actually giving that to them as a cover. He's paying them, kill this cop, kill my partner, Ethan Hawke. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's like, even, huh?
His name was Jake, wasn't it?
I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was Jake. Jake, take the bump. Take the bump or I'll shoot you right here in traffic. It is like, is he a good guy? They kept going back and forth. It was great. Dude, I'm telling you, it's just one of the best movies. So like, why did they have to just finalize it? Why does everything have to be final? Because the world isn't final. It's just not. Things keep going on. It's, if there's a corrupt cop, do the corrupt cops usually get caught? No, not unless somebody's videotaping. For the most part, even when they are, they're still cops. Saying it. I know it's not all cops. I'm just saying in general.
What about Robocop?
Oh, freaking Robocop! So we're gonna switch over like that. So okay, here's the thing that's happening with Robocop. You got Robocop. The guys trying to make Robocop. There's the two guys trying to make Robocop. Ed Neumeyer and Michael Miner, and they already wrote a script for. It's not a final script, but they already wrote a script for Robocop Part 2, Robocop Returns. This is obviously from the remake. Saying for me, I don't think the movie ever should have been remade, but that's just me, whatever. Part 3 you can remake. But the first two, don't touch those movies. And they did, and whatever, and it was worse. But they're talking about, yeah, we want to make a part 2. So they're trying to push it. And the movie, or the movie people aren't biting. A lot of it's because how are people going to see this movie? So instead, they're realizing TV is where it's at right now. So they said, well, what about if we made a TV series about Robocop, but it'd be too expensive to do Robocop himself. So what if we made it about the main bad guy, Dick Jones, the head of the Omni Consumer Products, and it was a prequel to Robocop? So that's what's
Hollywood.
being put. Yeah, they're trying really hard to raise the funds and get it together so they can actually make the pilot for this, because there's a lot of people they got to push this on to actually get this approved. And if it does happen, it's franchises, like that's just the way it works. You got a franchise. It's like name recognition. Everybody's all about name recognition when you get big, because nobody does census polls. Nobody actually has their thumb on the pulse of the people, the us regular common people who they want our money. You know what I'm saying? They just say, yeah, we'll just give them something familiar and they'll rush to it. And no, not necessarily.
Young people do. I feel like the good things come out of young people, except for James Cameron. He's amazing.
But if it's young people, then you don't need the old people, because it's the old people that you're appealing to by making Robocop. You could just make something else, like why the franchise? So
tell me about the Obi-Wan TV series.
Oh, nice and simple on this. We got this directly from where's my thing? I've got it. Like we're bouncing everywhere.
Olivia Chow.
I gave you this stuff in order. Okay, here we go. Ian McGregor says that the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series will only be one season. That's it. That's it. Now that might change because nothing's in concrete, according to Kathleen Kennedy. But for now, it's only going to be one season. That's
it. Might not change if the way that it ends has to do with the way that episode 4 begins.
Agreed. Okay. Because if all they're doing is trying to fill it, because that is the big question. What was this guy doing on Tatooine? Like, if Luke knew him, he knew about. What about old Ben? I wonder if that's who he's talking about. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So they've met.
Oh yeah, because in the original movie they say that. Yeah, so they've obviously met several times. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, not just those meetings, but all of it. Like, are we going to see that original pod race or close to whatever that race was on Mos Espa? Not Mos Espa. What was it? Beggar's Canyon. The thing on Beggar's Canyon. All that stuff. Yeah. Like shooting womp rats out of Beggar's Canyon. He did go to some kind of races before. I don't think it was the pod races. Those were stopped years ago, apparently. But in general, I want to see it all. I'm there for it.
Halle Berry on Bryan Singer.
So there was the scene where we talked about a couple years ago where everybody got together and like, this guy is just like, he's on drugs or something like that, whatever. And everybody got pissed out. Everybody except for what do you call it? Magneto walked in and was just like, if you fire this guy who you told to do this because you were sick on whatever it is that you were doing, whatever drugs you were doing, we're all going to quit. And Halle Berry at that point said, you can kiss my black ass. I guess enough people have been asking, because I was hoping somebody was going to ask more about that situation. Like, it doesn't seem like that would fit in there. She didn't want to elaborate on it, but she does say that Bryan Singer struggles, and she used this word a lot, struggles, with not focusing. And like, there was the one scene where they had to be in Banff, Canada, which I've never even heard of Banff, Canada, but apparently it's BANFF. It's freezing there. It's one of those scenes, I guess, in part 2, where it's just freezing. And like, she was the whole cast and crew were just infuriated. They're just sitting there freezing, and he's just walking around and doesn't know what he's doing. And she just said that he struggles with focusing. So like, is this ADD? Because now it starts sounding like it's ADD, ADHD, saying attention deficit disorder, something along those lines. That's what that makes it sound like to me, in which case they're all bad people now, unless it was drugs and she's just saying it a different way, in which case he's the bad guy. And I don't know. I don't know what that is.
You said the bad guy. It's a song. Everyone else left.
Oh, okay. I'm old. I was like, is this like you're doing the neck thing? Is that I Dream of Jeannie? You know that one, right?
No.
Oh, that because you're young. So anyway. Yeah, what else we got?
Oh yeah, let's wrap it up with the question: how much Black Panther was streamed?
Oh, that's wrapping up. I don't have more?
I have
Positive I had more.
headcanon, and that was the last thing I had. Sorry, just something I skipped. Let's go through it.
Well, hold on. Let's just do that. So,
Okay.
Black Panther was streamed more than anything else last week, because obviously, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. The Old Guard and Birds of
Wait,
Prey
hold on,
were
hold on.
number
Disney
2 and 3.
Plus?
No, everything streamed. Period. Any way, shape, or form that you could stream. Yes, Disney Plus is the main one.
All
I
right.
believe that it's also still on Netflix. I'm not sure, but they just said in general streamed. So more than anything else by huge numbers.
To
Black
my
Panther.
knowledge, Disney Plus doesn't release the numbers like how many people watch their shows.
No, they don't. But there's ways to check this stuff on apps. I think we also did
Oh,
something like this last week, or do I have more on that? Yes, I actually do have more on that here. Disney Plus, this is interesting. Disney Plus had approximately 68% increase in download apps. This is coming from an independent source. There's a lot of them. I'm just not going to write
yeah.
down every single source, but it's out there. I said it. Go and do your research. You'll see those sources. Consumer spending within the app increased by 193%. So this is that Mulan talk. This is really where a lot of that is coming from. A 68% increase in downloaded apps. So Disney Plus, people downloading the app, there's a 68% increase. So more than half of the audience that was already watching, like the number didn't double. So 168% people coming in. Yeah. What do you call it? So anyway, as far as the paying in the app, like
Mm-hmm.
people actually, we have the app and we're going to pay money into the app. That somehow increased. This is a weird number by 193%.
So that's double. That's almost quadruple.
Kind of, because
No,
here's the
that's triple.
thing. No. It would actually, what it means is it's a brand new number. It's a brand new number that comes out of nowhere. Because think about the number prior to that would have been 0. The only time you've ever been able to buy something inside of the Disney Plus app
Understood. Yeah, yeah.
was Mulan.
Yeah.
So that 100% is just, here's all the people. So what that seems to be, if I'm doing my math right, and I'm still remembering my statistics classes, which I might not be, but I was usually pretty good in math.
Mm-hmm.
That means that 93% of paid accounts bought the movie.
That's what that would mean.
Yeah. Because the 100 means boom. Any number after that is how many people of those 100 bought, since the original number was 0. There were 0 downloads. You couldn't download. There was nothing to download or buy. There was nothing to buy. You know what I'm saying? So more people jumped on Disney Plus. Like of all the people who were already on Disney Plus, they had an increase of 68% people jumping on. So it's like, holy crap, the numbers tripled. They tripled. 2% more than tripled. Wow, that's
Now, this is a
crazy.
number that measures users, not dollars.
That's right.
Okay.
But now the other one is, it's not measuring dollars specifically, but of the people actually making a purchase. And since the first ever purchase through the app
This is
and
Mulan.
only one right now is Mulan, these purchases 193% increase. So that means there were, and that was at, what was it, $20 or $30
American.
$30 American. That's a lot of people buying Mulan. That's a lot of people.
Okay.
Now, again, this is going to be free on December 4th. So the people who are buying it now just simply have early access to this by like 3 months.
But you can say that for every single movie. Every movie eventually becomes available on
this is
streaming
true.
in 3
Yeah,
months.
like if you buy the well, I don't know, if you buy it through whatever, like this isn't like I bought the DVD and I already have the Disney Streaming Plus. Because like I have the Black Panther DVD before it came to Disney Streaming, but I still bought Disney Streaming and I bought the Black Panther movie. This is, I already have Disney Streaming and I'm just going to buy the DVD from Disney and not have a physical copy. Yeah. It's a minor difference, but whatever. So another independent source explains that 1.12 million U.S. households watched Mulan between Friday and Sunday. That's the 4th through the 6th of September.
Hmm.
1.2 million people.
Times, yeah, 1.2 million people times $30 equals something like $3 million.
3.5, a little more than 3.5.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's quick math, by the way, but yes.
yeah, a $3 million opening box office weekend sucks.
That's also just in the US.
Oh, and okay, well, it still sucks just in the U.S. too. It's
Only
not
in
much.
the US. Oh, dude.
A
I don't know
U.S. box office opening is
how many
supposed to be
people
a.
actually
Can
have
I say how
the Disney
much?
streaming. Oh, good.
It's supposed to be 150 million for a movie of that size from the domestic box office
Let me
from the
correct you on
opening
that
weekend.
because I actually have the numbers. Mulan was projected to have a theatrical opening weekend, just the opening weekend, of
Hmm.
75 to 85 million, not 100 something. They themselves projected
Okay.
that it was going to have a 75 to 85 million dollars and 750 million dollar worldwide total.
Okay. Well, let's look at the $80 million that they were supposed to make American. They
Mm-hmm.
only made 3 million. Now I can make that 3 million sound more special by saying how no theaters were given a cut in this movie at all. So a three
That's right.
million.
And they didn't have to ship the stuff out and pack them with security and all that stuff. So that's that's a buttload of money. Like I actually
It's still
worked at a
not a
movie
buttload
theater
of
and I
money.
know the way that
80 million for
compared to
three
what they were
million.
expecting. Yeah, I understand. Project from what they're projected to rake in from the box offices besides the cut that they get and at the movie theater and all that stuff. I hear you. But this is with zero overhead. To me, this is like somebody saying, "Hey, man, in America, like I used to, work for, $6 an hour or whatever." And it's like, "Oh yeah, I'll work for you for, $6, but how about under the table? How about you just pay me cash instead of, on the books, and this way I'm actually making a lot more." It doesn't show up for my Social Security, but when you're young, nobody cares about Social Security. You care about making that extra couple of dollars because you freaking need it. So yeah.
Things I would never say on a podcast.
Dude, I was much younger. I mean, what are you gonna do? You come at me? Come at me. I was a kid. I was underage. Can't arrest somebody who's a kid for underage. But then again, I guess I could still be canceled. That was still 30 some odd years ago. um, Mulan's credits give thanks to Mulan, or thanks to China, including the 8 governmental bodies responsible for the Uyghur Muslim prisons and re-education camps for those same Uyghurs. That is causing the cancel Disney thing going around and cancel China and all these other hashtags and whatnot, and people actually getting pissed off about it. China heard about this, obviously, and they're really pissed off. And there's a Disney. Let's see it. Where is this? Um, do 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 do. No, this is a different thing. Excuse me. There it is. Disney CFO Christy McCarthy responded to some of the backlash in an interview with Deadline. And they're just like, yeah, let me put something into context. The real fact is that Mulan was primarily shot almost in entirety in New Zealand in an effort to depict some of the unique landscape and geography of the country of China for the period drama. We filmed the scenery in 20 different locations in China. It's common knowledge that in order to film in China, you have to be granted permission. I don't know that it's common knowledge, but maybe for her, somebody who's actually in, but anyway, that permission comes from the central government. So in our credits, it recognized both China and the locations in New Zealand. I would just leave it at that, but it's generated a lot of issues for us. So there's a lot of backlash over this. So much so that the government of China, mind you, the stuff that we talked about multiple podcasts ago with AMC theaters saying we're boycotting Universal movies from now on. Now it looks like all movies, for the most part, are being boycotted. But China is actually not. They're still going to let the movie play. They're going to let people, go to the movies or download the app, whatever. But they're not advertising it at all. It's a government thing now that they're just like, we need to wash our hands of this because we're really mad at this. And we're mad that Disney isn't doing more to put the kibosh on this. How dare you try and, you know, bring us down and say these kinds of things about us?
Is Disney supposed to change the way that the movie is credited? Is that all they need to do?
No, from my understanding, from what I know about contract law and the like through my business marketing degree, is that not only are you obliged to do that, but the government of China themselves, they really want that stuff. They want the credit. They want that stuff put in there. They want to look like, oh, we got, you know, you're supposed to get a thank you, right? If somebody gives you $1, you know, like if you're a bum on the street and somebody gives you $1, I know we're supposed to be above that, but in general, you'd like to hear, hey, thanks, man. You'd like to hear that. It would be nice instead of just, you know, ignoring or turn around and F you know, but like with China, it's everything's very formal, you know? So yeah, I believe that they're actually obliged by China to put that in. And people just, who looks at the end credits anyway? What are you waiting for, a freaking end credit scene? This is Disney, but it's not a freaking Marvel movie, man.
Yeah, it's weird to me that you needed the end credit for you to be triggered.
Yeah.
You should have already been mad because it's China, period.
If they're going to be upset about it in the first place, yeah, I don't know. That's just what's being said. There are fans who are happy again, though.
Nice.
You know who did the original voice for the Mulan animated movie?
Eddie Murphy.
That
No, it
was
was Ming Chan Wow. What's her name?
yeah, Ming Na Wen.
There it
Yes.
is.
She actually made an appearance in the
At
movie.
least I got the Ming right.
You
Yeah,
did.
she made an appearance? Okay.
She made an appearance. She was the person who introduced the movie version of Mulan to the Emperor. And this is yet another of those rare cases. So far, it's rare where the movie people are listening to the fans, because a lot of fans have been talking to, you know, Ming Na Wen and saying, hey, are you at least going to be in the movie? Because that would be a real sign of disrespect if you're not in the movie. And fans started making it really public. Disney apparently got a hold of this and like, why don't we have her in the movie? So she actually introduces Mulan to the Emperor. It's a very quick scene. There's some talking, and she's titled as a very special guest. Did I write it down exactly what she was? Whatever, just as a very special guest. So
That's nice. I know Power Rangers did that too with Jason David Frank and
oh, I
Amy
didn't
Jo
watch that
Johnson.
movie. What were they in?
They
They
were
were actually.
they were in the movie just as like a cutaway to see a bunch of people looking up like in shock. It was just the two of them standing, but they were in the movie.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love that they did that. Wow, I didn't actually see that movie. That is great. So anyway, yeah, also the idea that Disney based the idea of putting the movie on actual Disney Plus. There were multiple polls put out, and there really were a lot of polls because I actually saw the poll several places. I remember Marvel Insider, which has nothing to do with the Disney Plus or anything like that. They actually put a thing, hey, would you be willing to watch, you know, how soon, how likely are you to go back to the movie theater anytime soon? I was like, not at all. So
Why
they're like,
they asked
wow.
that question, but we've got the box office numbers for Tenet. I think we know.
Dude, this didn't just happen yesterday. This happened like a while ago.
Okay.
So, and every so often, one of these polls shows up, and it's just how often, you know, how likely are you to go back to seeing whatever? And Tenet's one thing. Tenet's not Gone with the Wind. You know what I'm saying? So, old people, young people, middle-aged people, like, you know, upper middle, lower middle. I mean, come on. So, yeah, there's lots of demographics. So they're actually putting out feelers. I mean, I think that's cool that they're actually doing that.
Chill's headcanon this week is Star Wars related. We see Sheev Palpatine is a grandfather, meaning there is a grandmother, right? Wrong. I refuse to believe that man did the nasty. You see, in episode 3...
There were no boots knocked?
No. He was never behind a woman, and she said, is that your lightsaber in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? That didn't happen. He talked to Anakin, and he's saying, you know, the ability to create life. Can that be learned? Not from a Jedi. You see...
Save a life.
To save a life, create a life too. He can influence the Metachlorians to create life. You might have blocked that out of your memory because Metachlorians was in it.
Oh,
I think he practiced. He was trying
safe
to
sex? Did he cover his lifesaver?
He was practicing Metachlorian creation. And one of those experiments was the parent of Rey. See, he kept that one alive because that, I think it was her dad. I may be wrong, maybe the mother. But the parent of Rey had the Force, and Sheev was like, okay, that's the one. So in my headcanon, that's the way that he had a grandkid. It was completely Force related, no intercourse.
Okay. I have a question for you, though.
Uh-oh.
When did they plan it?
When did who plan what?
When did he plan to actually do the experiment and all that stuff? Because we know that Disney doesn't plan for anything for the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
There was no Planned Parenthood in that whatsoever.
I've heard of Planned Parenthood.
You will do anything to make that movie better. And you don't even have to try hard.
Yeah.
I think that's a podcast.
Ni hao.
Does that also mean hello, or does it just mean goodbye? I thought it just meant hello.
Okay, then I misused ni hao. I'm sorry.
Oh, no big deal. Yeah, there used to be a cartoon I used to watch with my daughters. Ni hao Kailan. I think her name was Kailan. Anyway, it was a long time ago. All right, so we're out. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. A little bit of Chillmonger, too. Class dismissed.